Hi friends and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's your first time here. Today I'm going to be making a cute top while answering your questions. Guys, we did it! We did it! We hit 1k! I am so happy! Thank you so much to everybody. I appreciate every single one of you and it's so awesome reaching this milestone. I did post on my Instagram and my community tab asking what you would like me to do to mark this occasion, and you all said a Q&A and you've been sending in your questions for the past week or so. So for this video I'm going to be answering your questions while at the same time making what's hopefully going to be a cute little top. Okay, so this is the idea for the top. We've got a nice big poofy oversized sleeve here. Then the top is going to be split up into 3 sections. The back is basically the same as this but without this bit. So got like a bottom kind of peplumy area, but like not that big. Just enough to get over my hips. We don't want to go too flowy. Middle section, which this is going to be corseted at the front. And then this top bit is going to be gathered in a little bit here over the bust area. I didn't want to go too low cut with this. Just because I'd like to be able to wear like little vest tops and stuff like that with it and not have the neckline kind of lost in it. Like I say, the back is basically exactly the same as this, but without this little lacing placket bit here. Just before I cut all those pieces out and serge them and everything, I'm going to answer the first question, which is from Rhyming Mime, and it is, what is your favourite horror movie? For me, it will always be American Werewolf in London. I remember seeing that film when I was probably around 14 and my mum telling me to close my eyes due to a certain scene in it. But I absolutely love that film. It is so great. I think the special effects are amazing. The werewolf transformation was brilliant, and I mean for its time as well, it was absolutely brilliantly done. It's a comedy as well as being a horror film as well, because for anybody who has seen that film, if you haven't seen it, you should totally see it. It's really good. For anybody who has seen it though, the cinema scene, come on, I mean that is just fantastic. But yeah, that film, although there's some comedy elements in it, it genuinely freaked me out when I first saw it. It's so good. So that is definitely my favourite. My parents were very good at making sure that I saw all the really good like horror and thriller films. Everything that needed to be serged has been serged, so that's all ready to be sewn together. I've also done my darts. The sun appears to have just gone away. And before I get to sewing all that together, I am going to answer another question. So this one is also by Rhyming Mime. Do you make things for your friends, family, partner, or mostly for yourself? I primarily make things for myself, purely because I turn into a little bit of a wreck when I'm under a lot of pressure, as was seen in the Making 1930s Ghosts video. Things didn't go exactly according to plan and I was just like, So I primarily do things for myself. Are there any other skills or crafts you'd like to practice? I enjoy all the crafts. I'm one of those people who, as soon as somebody posts something, I'm like, I want to learn how to do that. I don't always have enough spoons to learn all the crafts, and it does mean that my craft area looks like a tip. But I do love trying new things. Like I recently had a proper go at doing cross stitch, which I hadn't really tried like since I was a tiny child. Something that I have seen that I would really like to try is tablet weaving. I just really like the idea of making my own belts and stuff. I think that would be really cool. I'd have like my own designs on them. It looks so complicated though. I get quite muddled, especially when I'm very fibro-y, so I can see that being something that I get confused with very, very easily. But yeah, I'd like to have a go with that, it'd be quite fun. The back is all sewn up, it just needs a good press, the seams pressed open and stuff. What I need to do before I can attach the fronts together is I need to do a little bit of gathering along the top panel, just under the bust kind of area. Attach the top to the middle section, then I can finish off the lacing placket bit at the front there. Then I need to do just a little hem to finish the like peplumy bit at the bottom, then I can attach the top and middle section to the bottom section at the front. Before I do that though, I am going to answer some questions by Mary F. Because there are actually quite a few questions, I'm genuinely surprised that this many people asked me questions. So thank you to everybody. Right, Mary F asks, what do you do for work if you work outside the home? How do you organise sewing and working and making/editing videos, and how do you stay motivated? Well, I'm not currently working. This is due to health issues. Unfortunately, because of the kind of health issues I have, fibromyalgia, hypermobility spectrum disorder, as well as a host of other stuff, mental health, waiting to be assessed for autism, all that kind of stuff, it means that being reliable and regular and all that kind of stuff that is needed for a full-time job, it's impossible. It's literally impossible. The last job I had was actually working in a factory, and that got to the point where I was missing so many days that my boss was like, we're gonna have to let you go. The thing is though, I'm a very creative person. I like doing things, like I like to keep myself busy, I need to keep my brain occupied. I'm not the kind of person who can basically just sit there not doing anything. So doing my sewing, like other crafts and stuff like that, are really good things that keep me occupied, and they're things that I can do at my own pace. That's the most important thing. It's being able to do things at my own pace. So with a sewing project, I can very easily do maybe half an hour's work one day and then do like 3 hours work another day, and I'm not beholden to that like strict schedule like that I would have to have if I was doing it as a job. I do obviously do stuff at the little theatre, but again, it's really good in the sense that like I can do things at my own pace again, and there's people there who know what my brain is like and knows that I'll get excited about things and go, ooh, I can do this. Who'll go, are you sure you can do this? So there's people there who'll kind of keep me in check, because very often my brain will be telling me one thing and saying, oh, you can do this and this and this and this, but my body is saying a different thing, i.e. no, you cannot do this. I do find though, even though I don't have like a proper like full-time job and stuff like that, there is still a delicate balance with doing my crafting and stuff and doing YouTube stuff. You've probably noticed that, this video included, very often I'm not getting my video out on the day and time that I say I want to. This is because fibro happens quite often and I'm not physically able to finish a project by the time that I'd like to. There are other times, like at the moment, there's Panto going on, there's Death Trap going on, there's so many other things. My birthday is coming up very soon. I'm going to be 39, not long now until I hit 40. But yeah, lots and lots of things going on that end up pushing YouTube back. I also have really, really bad executive dysfunction. So I'm not very good at like planning my time well and like keeping to schedules and stuff. I love spreadsheets. Like, give me a spreadsheet and I am happy. But I am better at organising other people on a spreadsheet than organising my own time on a spreadsheet. And how do I stay motivated? Keeping things fun. The most important thing for me when doing my crafts and stuff like that is we are losing the light. I think we've got a poltergeist. The light just turned like that. Anyway, things have to be fun for me in order to keep me interested. There are often times when I'll be doing a project and it just becomes stressful. And with YouTube stuff, there's often times when I'm like, well, I have to carry on because I need to get a video out this week. And I think that you can tell those videos because they're often a lot shorter and the general idea of it isn't as good. So things need to be fun for me. Like the pinhead one, that ended up being a long video, but I loved every second of filming that. That was such a fun project and it kept me interested the entire way through. Anything kind of Halloween related, anything spooky, anything goth, those kind of things will keep me interested the whole time. And silly stuff as well, stuff that's just silly and fun will keep me interested. As much as like I would like to be the kind of channel to do like simple projects that are step-by-step tutorials and stuff, that kind of thing I find difficult to keep me motivated. If I'm doing something silly that I don't have to take too seriously and don't have to worry too much about will people get this, then things tend to run a lot smoother for me. Okay, so I've done my light gathers along this bit. They've been pinned together. I've also done a small little hem on the little peplumy bits, so this just needs to be stitched down. Victoria V asks, where are you from? I am from the UK, in a little town near Liverpool. How did you learn to sew? I first learned the kind of basics at school. We learnt with like big tapestry needles and open weave fabric and like embroidery thread. Thinking about it, we probably could have hurt ourselves because they were metal needles, but this was the 80s, so nobody cared. I then learned a little bit from my grandma and then was mostly self-taught. There are a lot of very badly made corsets in my past from my clubbing days. Luckily when YouTube came along I was able to teach myself a lot more from watching tutorials. What made you start a channel? I guess part of it was seeing if I could, and part of it was feeling maybe some of the things that I make and stuff some people might enjoy seeing. It's a tricky one. I was never expecting to kind of get to this point where I had like 1k subs and stuff. It was always like a little bit of a hobby, like, and again, like I say, just to see if I could, because although, especially like sort of late 2000s sort of time, I was reasonably confident in myself with still images. I always had this kind of like voice in the back of my head saying, but you can't do motion. Like, you're far too awkward and there's things wrong with you, like people will never like you if they see you in motion. And I got to a point where I wanted to challenge myself on those thoughts, and starting a YouTube channel was a really good way of doing that, because it made me realise that, like, nobody's saying anything about the fact that my hair's really, really thin. Nobody's saying anything that, like, my teeth look horrible and all these little things going on, like, in the back of my mind. There's also another aspect as well where I felt that generally in mainstream media and stuff like that, you don't see a lot of people who look like me. It's all really kind of like tall, beautiful, flowing hair and stuff like that. And like even in art as well, you never see people with hip dips in art. Like, I have even tried messaging a few artists and saying, hey, why don't you draw some characters with hip dips? And I never hear back. Never. On my Instagram, I actually drew a couple of pictures like of people with hip dips, because I was like, so many people have this body shape. It's one of the reasons why when I did my goth corset video, I specifically wore like tight leggings and showed my hip dips, because I grew up feeling like I was a freak. Like, especially in the modelling world as well, everybody looks perfect. And I never saw somebody who had the same body shape as me. And it made me feel so bad about myself. It took a long time for me to feel confident showing that part of me. So having that normalization, like showing other people like, hey, this is a body shape that is totally valid and lots of people have too. So yeah, hopefully in that way, like to give other people a little bit of confidence. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant. Now I'm worried. Anything you dream of making one day. One thing that I really want to make, like it's been on my to-do list for quite a while now. I want to do a natural form era poison ivy. I think that would look so good. I think the natural form era aesthetic with the amount of like pleats and bows and things like that are on those outfits, that would work so well transformed into like plants and stuff like that for poison ivy. It would look so good. There's two things that are putting me off doing it though. After going on my second lot of antidepressants, I put on a little bit of weight. And as much as I am comfortable with the way I look, I feel like I want to look more kind of elongated and stuff like that for poison ivy. Because, like, I'm quite short, so I want to kind of at least lose the bingo wings a bit before I do that cosplay. The other thing is getting hold of fabrics. I have got absolutely no problem at all using like a poly taffeta. I made my Giga's alien costume using poly taffeta and I think it looks great. So that isn't the problem. It's just for this outfit, I'm probably going to need something like 12 meters of fabric because of all the details and stuff. And then there's all the applique and flowers and stuff like that I'm going to need. So my projects are the kind of things that I will literally like save up for, do without sweets and little treats and stuff so that I can save up money to get my fabrics and stuff. So poison ivy is going to be one that has to go on the back burner maybe until next year. We shall see. Next year will be good, I think, for that one. I was going to do all my foldy stuff for doing the placket, but then I realised if I put my facing pieces on, then I'll be able to fold it all in at the top and have a nice clean edge here. Before I get all that set up though, I've got more questions. Hannah Green asks, what are you most looking forward to next year? And if you could visit any fictional world / place, where would you go and why? So, most looking forward to next year, getting out. Like, actually, like, meeting people, like, in the costuming world, because I've still not actually done that yet. It'd be awesome to do some collaborations with people or something and like actually see them. Like I do have a plan to go to like a costuming like kind of weekend thing next year, and that should be fun. Obviously I'm a little bit worried because like all these people have been doing costuming for a lot longer than me and they're all really skilled, and I'm worried that I'm going to show up looking like a potato. the worst clothes ever. Also the fact that I think I've only actually got 2 costumes that are historically kind of accurate-ish. Everything else is a cosplay of some sort. So I'm gonna have to make some things. I'm gonna have to make like a robe thing for swanning around in the manor house and stuff. Something kind of Crimson Peak-esque. I think that'd be quite cool. When it comes to a fictional place, I'm going to be honest, but I honestly can't think of anywhere. I mean, an obvious one would be like Lord of the Rings, living in the Shire, because it's like really quaint and nice and everybody's happy. But I can also be a bit of a pessimist. So I'll always kind of go back to, yeah, but nasty stuff does happen still. It's like everywhere I can think of, there's like a fictional world, a fictional place. Bad stuff always happens. It's never all kind of rainbows and unicorns. There's always something. I mean, an interesting place to live possibly would be Midsummer in the UK, and if I was a cop, because I'd always have something interesting to do. I'm sorry, it's possible only British people will get that. But yeah, if I was going to be a detective anywhere, or like doing forensics anywhere, I'd want to be in Midsummer. Okay, so the final question I have on the community tab is from Knits and Bolts Costume Design, and it is, how long did it take for you to get to 1,000 subs? The answer to that is just under 2 years, and when I say just under, I mean just under. I started my YouTube channel in December of 2020, with my first video being making a sandworm draft excluder, because I wanted to show my personality straight off the bat. I've just checked on my phone and I think it's 64 videos, including shorts. So I don't think that's too bad. I know that there's some people who manage to do it in like 6 months or whatever, but I'm pleased with the kind of steady like growth of my channel. The only thing I need to improve on, I think, is watch hours, because I'm at just over 2,000 at the moment. So I think the solution to that one might be longer videos. So be prepared in the future for there to be some more kind of long form videos. But yeah, from what I've seen like on like Reddit, in the YouTube like subreddits and stuff, 2 years for 1,000 subs seems about right, I think. So, especially for somebody in like kind of a smallish niche like this. I've just got to quickly fix a mistake, because mistakes do happen, especially when you're tired. I sewed one of the little facing pieces on the wrong way round, so that needs to be unpicked and put back on again. But after that, I can sew that little bit down, and then I can attach the top and middle bits of the front bits to the bottom of the front bit, if that makes sense at all. I've got nearly a done shirt. It's at the point where I could try it on and make sure that it fits. I ended up having to increase the seam allowance to 1 inch just at the waistline because it was just a tad too big, but that's not a big deal at all. I just need to put the sleeves on this, hem it, do the lacing at the front, and I'm thinking I'm going to add a little drawstring around the neckline here just to bring it in a little bit. But it's all really straightforward stuff. I've got 2 more questions. The first one is from Shannon Makes, and this was on a post on my Instagram, and it is, what is your favourite part of being a YouTuber, and what is the biggest sticking point or most difficult part? My favourite thing about being a YouTuber, I think, is getting to talk to other people. It's always such a great feeling when there's a project where I'm really excited about it and really looking forward to it and really looking forward to showing you guys, and you comment saying that you really loved it too. It's such a great feeling. It's also really awesome getting to help people. It's really nice when I get a message from somebody saying like, oh, like, thank you, like you've taught me something new today and stuff like that. It's such a nice thing, and it's something that I've not really had in any other part of my life. Also the community aspect, just in general, like, if it wasn't for getting into YouTube, I wouldn't have joined all the like historical and historical costuming and history bounding discords and stuff. Like, I wouldn't have found other like-minded people. I wouldn't have found like a whole host of people with the same health problems as me and stuff like that. So they are the good things. The bad, it does take it out of you. I find that I put a lot of pressure on myself. Not to be perfect or anything like that, because like, I don't mind showing you what mistakes I make and like that kind of thing. But trying to get a video out at a certain time on a certain day, because a lot of the time it's not going to happen. So I do feel that I put a lot of pressure on myself with that, like trying to be consistent and get a video out for you. Like I said in like my previous video, going back to doing once a fortnight, because as well as the financial thing, it's also a lot of pressure to get a video out every week and trying to think of new ideas every week. The other thing, I suppose, is when you have an idea that you were really, really looking forward to and you really, really liked it, you thought the outcome was brilliant, and then the video flops. I think I have to put that down to audience. I think From videos that I've watched about like the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that, unfortunately, sometimes you might have a great idea for a video, but the YouTube algorithm doesn't know what audience it is aiming it at, so ends up pushing it to the wrong people. The amount of times I've checked in like my like analytics and stuff, and it said that it's been like pushing my video out to like some random like fishing thing, and it's like, why? That's got nothing to do with what I'm doing. So yeah, but like I say, it's not all doom and gloom. It's really not. Like even those videos that like have flopped, I still really enjoyed making them. Like I've still got pictures from them. Like it was still an all-round fun experience for me. So yeah. It is a new day. My top now has sleeves. The only things I've got left to do on that now are putting the cuffs on, hemming, and doing the lacing at the front, which should be really straightforward. I'm thinking I might do a little drawstring or a little bit of elastic or something around the neckline as well, just to pull it in a little bit more, because it's a little bit big. I did make the neckline lower because I felt like it was a bit too high, but now I think I might have made it a bit too low. So my thinking is if I put something around the neckline, that'll just bring it up a little bit. Fingers crossed. My final question is from Kira Una, and it is, who is your second favourite Invader Zim character? People who have been following my channel at least from the summer, when I was wearing little t-shirts and stuff, will probably have noticed that I have got Gur. I have also got Minnie, Moose and Piggy from Invader Zim. Obviously, Gur is my absolute favourite character from Invader Zim. My second favourite... See, the boring answer would be to say Zim, because Zim is just such an awesome character. I really do love that character, it's so funny. The comedy answer though, Squidman. Squidman is just one of the most absurd characters I think has ever been created. It's a guy who had his brain transplanted with a squid. So there's moments where he's very confused and trying to do squid things, but he can't because he's in a human body. Here is just a short clip that I've found of Squidman in action.
Please, just take me back to the sea.
But seriously, watch Invader Zim if you haven't, and look out for Squidman, because it's amazing. Coincidentally, for my next video, I do actually have something planned that is Invader Zim themed. This is something that could either end up being really, really cute, or the most cursed thing you have ever seen. We shall see. Okay, so this is the finished top. It's not too bad. I made a couple of little mistakes. This line here should be down here. But you know what? I love the sleeves, so I can just wear a little vest with it or something, which was the plan anyway, so it is not the end of the world. I don't think anybody will notice that a little style line is wrong. This has been a really fun video. Thank you everybody for your questions, and thanks again everybody for getting me up to over 1,000 subs. I'd like to give an extra special thank you to Elaine, who is supporting me on my Ko-fi account. If you would also like to support me on my Ko-fi account and give me ideas for things that you'd like to see on there, then the link is in the description below. It has taken me a little while to actually do this outro because the temperature has plummeted, and this is not really cold weather attire. I've been living in jumpers for the past few days. Also, if you've been following my community tab, you'll know that I have been absolutely swamped with theatre stuff. I'm going to have to learn to say no in future, I think. Because, yeah, the fibro has hit me very, very hard. So I am going to be resting for a little bit, and my next video is going to be something extremely cozy. If you've enjoyed this video, then doing all the YouTubey things would be very much appreciated. Leave a little like, leave a comment. I always read all of your comments. Speaking of, I have seen your comments on the walkaway dress video. Next week, I am going to wear the walkaway dress and you'll be able to see what I chose to make that baggy neckline adjustment. YouTube is saying you might enjoy this video next, and I will see you next time. Bye!